Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Cinematic Trinity, where we talk movies, games and TV shows. And this week we are tackling Speak No Evil. Let's get into it.
So you can't see us this week because we couldn't be bothered to set everything up properly and, look presentable. So you're just hearing our voices today.
So you're not seeing us when we're going to be not speaking about any evil. That was awful.
That didn't work, I think.
But yeah, to us, we are recording this the day before the podcast is due to come out. Life has been busy. We've been on holiday. So you know what? It's been a good time overall. Kieran's not here this week.
Of course. Come on, Kieran. Get back.
But we might see him next week. Who knows? Who knows
what that man is up to?
But yeah, we're here talking this week about the American sort of remake of Speak No Evil, which was this, I think, like English-Danish film from only a couple of years ago. So caused a bit of a stir. Why are we remaking a movie that's only a couple of years old? But you know what? To get straight to it, we had a good time with this movie.
We did. We really enjoyed. I was very pleasantly surprised because I mean, I didn't really have any expectations, but I feel like we have actually watched a few horror films recently, and they've just not really been very good. So it was nice to watch something that was actually good, And I think that when you listen to James McAvoy talking about this film and the fact that it is a reboot, because it's a lot of the original film is English, but there's also Danish in it as well, and it's kind of made for that audience. It's not made for like a British American audience. So I think it, in a way, it has a place, for this to be, and he says, if it encourages people to watch the original, then that's great as well. So I think that it still does, because let's be honest, we would have had absolutely no idea about a Danish film that came out that also had some English in it. We wouldn't have had a clue.
Yeah, no, so, exactly.
Yeah, and because it is good, it also solidifies it. If it was rubbish, it'd be like, well, what was the point then? You may as well have just left it. But because it's actually good, you can forgive it of that sin of being a remake.
I mean, by all accounts, this version of it and the original version are both good movies. It's not like they do some different stuff as far as I understand. So there are some differences between the two, but they're still good. But to get to sort of the general plot, basically follows this like American family who've moved to England. They're on holiday in Italy, and then who should they meet but James McAvoy and his family. They get to talking, they become like, a little bit friendly, and then they get invited to Devon, big up Devon, to stay at James McAvoy's his farmhouse that's there. But not all is as it seems. There's some sinister undertones going here, and it's basically what's going to happen. Are this family going to get out,
Are they weirdos or
is
exactly it all fine,
and
you're not quite sure.
But I think the biggest thing I can say for this movie is just James McAvoy.
Oh my god, he's fantastic.
He's brilliant.
Absolutely fantastic. Performance of a lifetime. He is absolutely brilliant in this film. I don't know, he's just so perfect. He's just fantastic. I was hanging on to his every word and every breath he was taking, every move he was making. I was hanging on to it, He was, honestly, he was absolutely outstanding. It's worth watching him. Worth watching him, just the film, just for him, because he carries the whole... I mean, not that everybody else is, rubbish in it. They're all absolutely fine. This person was rubbish or this person was rubbish. They were all fine, but James McAvoy, he was just fantastic.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant.
Literally, he balances, sinister stuff with, comedy. And, because obviously, at the beginning, he does have to come off as being this charming guy.
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
As the movie goes on, the charm slips and the mask begins to come off, kind of thing. And he's just it's uncomfortable, some of the stuff he does, but that's brilliant,
Yeah, in the best way, uncomfortableness in the best way.
And there's good bits where he makes you uncomfortable, but then it's followed by comedy immediately, when it was because he tells the family he's a doctor, and then it's oh, do you have a plaster about? Can you see to my wife? She's cut herself. Well, I'm not a doctor. And then they pause for a while, and it's just kidding you. And you're just there oh god.
I know, it's so they just create this a perfect sense of tension because you are guessing throughout the... I mean, you know what's going to happen. You know what the outcome's likely to be because it's a film, and of course it is. You know, the outcome is the outcome. But you are thinking to yourself, like, if you're not really sure what's going on, you're like, how crazy is this going to get? Is this just going to be mid-level crazy or absolutely ridiculous, or how crazy are they? You know, you're never really, and you do get that sense of unease throughout the whole film.
Yeah, it does like a lot of good, like, sort of taking the rug out from under you, or like tension builds, and then it's like innocent, you know, nothing happens. Like we'll get into like in the spoiler section, but like there's a few bits in this film where you're like, where is this going? And then suddenly it's like, whew, I could take a deep breath here. But I think performance-wise, everyone does a good job. James McAvoy is the standout. I did like his wife as well.
She was really good in it.
I can't remember the actress's name, but
no idea.
As like the couple, very, very good. Like the kid actors as well.
I know that you hate a child actor.
Well, the girl was a bit annoying, but that's just because of what the script did to her. Because she's like this anxious child. Like she's got a cuddly toy, and it's like some of the scenarios that are manufactured here are due to her cuddly toy, and you're just a bit like, oh, come on, get a grip. What are you doing? So but I think, you know, the progression of the film, like, it does hold your attention. There's some good like bits of levity. There's some good bits of actual tension, and like the last
levity. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
What a vocabulary you've got today.
Cranking out the words here. But yeah, no, it balances it really well. Like, it didn't drag or anything. Like, I think I even looked at my watch and I was like, oh my god, there's still like half an hour left. But like, what is going to happen? In this half an hour? But yeah, no, I think honestly, it is good. Like, you know, if we were to get like our scale up here, this is definitely, it's not quite a masterpiece, but it is a good time, so like go watch it.
Definitely go and watch it if you get a chance to see it in the cinema as well, because I think again it's just always that thing of, if you're just solely focusing on that film, like you'll get a lot more enjoyment out of it, because you'll just little bits of dialogue and little bits here and there, you know, you'll just get a lot of enjoyment out of it. So definitely go and see it in the cinema and just, you know, enjoy James McAvoy in all his glory.
I know, literally,
he is brilliant. We all came out of the film saying exactly the same thing.
Well, we also all said, like, because it's obviously in Devon, his like Devonshire accent only slipped out in like certain bits, because otherwise he sounds like normal English James McAvoy, but then it'd be like, oh, you're my darling, are you right, my darling? It's just like, you know, as a Devonshire person myself, I was like, this is very weird. Like,
not,
you know,
that you have a Devonshire accent.
No, just the fact that it was just the fact that it was in Devon, I was like, I didn't know this is what the film was doing. Big up Devon, like, let's go.
But it's not big up Devon because it's filmed in Gloucester,
I know,
which is literally not Devon. So come on,
how many people are going to be deceived into thinking?
I'm sure there's a perfectly nice farmhouse in Devon that they could have filmed it on. Like, come on.
Who knows? Who knows? But apart from that discrepancy, that's what drops it down to a go watch it. It's just a depiction of Devon in the movie. I think, you know what, we can't talk about this film anymore without getting into some spoilers. So here is your spoiler warning.
Spoilers ahead.
So yeah, one scene I want to talk about right off the bat, which I'm glad I didn't watch the clip for because it came up on my like YouTube, was the Cotton Eye Joe scene.
Absolutely brilliant.
So, you know, they're at the farmhouse, the kids are going to do a little dance, they've got their CD player to hand and it's playing Cotton Eye Joe. And like, you know, you get bits at this point because basically like James McAvoy and like his wife's kid that they have at the time, like he's mute so he can't talk and like, you know, he's non-verbal, stuff like that. But you sense there's like a bit of tension between them, so this scene just accelerates that.
Yeah, it sort of puts it in the open because it's all kind of been like, oh, this could be just the way they are, it could just be like their family dynamic, or it could be that he's a nasty person and he's horrible to his kid.
And you do get the scenes beforehand because like the little boy in like their family makes friends with the girl from like the American family, so it's like he's trying to tell her something. What it is,
but we
you don't know
what,
and then it's like this scene like proper like, oh no, something is definitely like something's wrong here. So it's like they're trying to do their routine and like me and you were laughing, but it is like, it is sinister because it's like
awful,
the kid's like
funny.
not dancing properly and James McAvoy's like, oh, do that again, like, oh come on, he's not putting any effort in, like dance. And we were just like, just his delivery. Like, well,
no, he's ruining it for everybody, isn't he? Because he's so rubbish, he's just spoiling it and he's not doing the dance right, and he makes him do it again and again and again. And honestly, it's the most hilarious but awful and uncomfortable thing. But it's just so well done.
Yeah.
And James McAvoy, again, is brilliant, and the kids are brilliant. Everybody's so brilliant, and the script is so fantastic.
Yeah.
That it's just brilliant.
I
Like,
agreed,
honestly.
because we watched it with like Isaac and Kieran. I agreed with Isaac because he was like, it was just uncomfortable due to like the setting. So like that would be if you went to like your friend's house, like your family's house, and it was like watching other people like discipline their kids, and you're just there to be like, oh, what do I do here? Yeah, so because that's like the whole like American family's point of view, and like watching like videos afterwards, it is like it's how far their like politeness goes, and like how to a fault they just refuse to like leave despite all the warning signs, and that's like, you know, what are you guys doing? Like, get out of there.
Yeah.
Whereas like in like this film compared to the like the original version, as I understand, like these guys do just continue to stay, whereas like the other ones try at least kind of get out. There's a bit more, or actually these guys put up more of a fight towards the end than the original version. But yeah, the Cotton Eye Joe scene's just, again, brilliant. There's like a bit before as well when they go to like the pub like next to the ocean, and it's like those two talking about like James McAvoy and his wife talking about being like intimate, and then they do like a gag.
Do we have to talk about this?
Well,
it's embarrassing.
well, it's not. We're not going. They do a gag, but like again, uncomfortable, and then instantly we're just messing around with you. So you're just there like, oh god. Again, just that scene, it needs to be seen to be believed, but it's just like, again,
it's
just
like we're trying to tell a really funny story.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, you had to be there. You had to be there.
But like, yeah, honestly, so the big twist of the film is that James McAvoy and his family, their like play, if you want to call it that, is they'll go on holiday, make friends with people, and then they will invite them back, and basically they'll kill the parents and they'll abduct the child. Abduct, whatever.
Abduct.
Steal. They'll steal the child. Kidnap. Yes, they'll kidnap the child. So it turns out the kid who's playing their son at the time isn't actually their son. They've cut out his tongue, so he can't.
And you know what? It is a very tense scene because him and the other girl are like making friends. He takes her into this cellar almost, and there's like shoes and glasses and loads of passports, all from the previous families that they've like taken and then kidnapped the child of. And then he's looking through pictures of all these families, and he's like pointing at it, and he's pointing at this picture. He's going, "Oh my god, look at this!" You know, but he can't speak.
And it's a
picture of him with his tongue sticking out. You know, like you know, just like posing for the photo. And then he's like, that's when it's the trailer where it's like the snip, where he's like snipping and the thing, because they cut out his tongue so that he couldn't talk about what's happened. And that really, like, it got me on edge. You know, I was thinking, God, is somebody going to find them? Is that what? But that's not, you expect that somebody's just going to come and find them. Yeah. And that's what's going to set the ball rolling, but it's not. It's then the kid trying to tell her parents about what's going on and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, James McAvoy, like, he knows about it because like his like son steals his keys to like get to the cellar and then puts the keys back, but then he finds like the leaves over the cellar door have been moved, so he's like, all right, something's up here. But yeah, the little girl like gets her mum to come into the bathroom with her. She like tells the mum, then they tell the dad, and they're all like, right, these guys are psychos,
gotta go,
let's get out of here, kind of thing. And that's when this is like one of the scenes I was talking about earlier where it's like tension and the night calms down, so it's like, you know, James McAvoy, like, you can tell he knows that they know.
Yeah.
But they're like, all right, we're going to go home now because our daughter's, like, ill. You know, she doesn't want to be here anymore. So then they go to the car and it's got a flat tyre, which, like, that's in the trailer. You're like, oh, that's when they get trapped in the house. But no, James McAvoy helps him fix his tyre.
Yeah.
And it's like, right, see you, be on your way. Oh, wait, little girl, where's your cuddly toy? And it's on the roof of like the barn. It's just like all torn up, and you're like, gee, this is it then? And then it's like, oh no, they grab a ladder and then they go and get the doll and then they go to leave, and it's just like, what is happening? So then they are driving off, the gates like open, and then they just see in like the rear view mirror that they push the son in like water and he can't swim. That's like established.
So they push him in so he can drown. They're killing him.
Yeah, basically. But then also it's to bait like them stopping the car to then go save him, and that's when they lock up the gates and it's like, right, you're stuck in this.
Yeah, and they say to him, he was like, you know, and he says to James McAvoy says to the dad at the end, he's kind of like, you know, you couldn't sacrifice the son, the boy, for your own family. Like, you were so desperate to like save everybody that you couldn't sacrifice him, let him die.
Well, it's again like their politeness and stuff like that, because they're even like, when they get tied up by James McAvoy, it's like, why are you doing this to us? And he goes, because you let us, like, because you're such like
people pleasers.
Yeah, people pleasers, and like you let people walk all over you. This is why, like, you did this to yourselves. Which again, it's like, oh man, like you really did.
I mean, you can get yourself into situations like, I mean, I feel like we don't, because we don't speak to people. People, you can make friends on holiday, you can make friends with strangers in the street, you can just be chit-chatting to people, and all of a sudden you're in like a situation that you did not want to be in. Very, very easy.
Because there's even a point like earlier on where they leave in the middle of the night, because the mum's uncomfortable with like their daughter like basically sleeping in like James McAvoy in like his wife's bed, because they're trying to like at that point try and like adopt her almost, like to be like, they're telling her what to do. So that like disturbs them. They leave, and then they have to come back because the cuddly toy is still at the house, and that's what leads to like the rest of the film. Like they do stay over to like make amends as such. And then they find out, and then they get kidnapped, they do escape, and then like the last like 20 minutes is basically them, like it's like a Home Alone situation, like they're trying to protect the kids and like themselves from James McAvoy, his wife, and like one of their friends who helps them run this like kidnapping.
Knows that that's it. But there is like a line of dialogue where the woman, the wife of James McAvoy, says, oh, take me with you, like I was the first. So you're almost like not sure. I think it is true, but you almost like, I was like, I'm not sure if she's just saying this to get out of it, whether she wants to get, or whether she's actually just been like indoctrinated by him now, and they've sort of come to the same belief system, because it hints to it earlier on in the film, because she's quite young, and they say, oh, we've been together for 16 years, and they were like, oh god, well, how old was she when she got with him then? Like, this seems weird, but it's because he abducted her, and that's sort of how the cycle started. So it's just very interesting.
Well, it's all these different themes of like abuse and like family and stuff like that. Because I mean, she's got like bruises on her, so like clearly there is like a domestic thing between those two. And then obviously like the son has bruises too, and there's like a thing earlier on where James McAvoy's like calls him over, because obviously he's not his kid, he's kidnapped this child, but he's like, show me love then, like give me a hug, like, and then to sort of like convince him, obviously he's just playing along, he does like, oh, I'll play with you and stuff like that, the kids, to then like draw his attention away from the family who are trying to get away. But then the final like final 15-20 minutes is just them, like they fight back basically, like the family, they sort of barricade themselves in the house, everyone's gonna try and get in. It kind of just ends like they just defeat everybody really. Like the wife falls off the roof. Yeah,
but they defeat everybody and they win essentially. But you're not thinking to yourself, oh, of course they're going to win. Oh, of course. Oh, it's all going to work out. You don't know. Like, you genuinely don't know, because it's not just like, you're watching some, like, whatever franchise film where that the main people are going to be in it by the end of it, but you're just waiting for it to happen and wondering why. But with this, you're really not sure whether they're actually going to make it out or not. I think. I mean, I definitely felt like that.
I think they showed like some, like they did show like some incompetence, like from the family's like side, like the main family, like they try and light like a thatch bit of roof on fire, and like the Molotov gets thrown like incorrectly, so then it just misses, and then like the husband goes to like stab the like helper guy, and he like just messes up and gets overpowered. So it's kind of like, and he like breaks his leg as well, like when he jumps off the roof. It's kind of like they're hurting themselves, and like they're not taking care of each other, like kind of thing, like effectively. So when it comes to it, like the James McAvoy's wife's dead, she fell off the roof, the main hunt, like the helper guy, is dead, so then it's just James McAvoy who got like bleach thrown over him, so he's like limping and like burned and stuff. And then it's basically he gets jabbed with like a sedative by the kid, so he's like lying there on the floor. The family are like, they're gonna run off now, they're gonna go into the sunset and take the kidnapped boy with them, but then he turns back and he just bashes James McAvoy's skull in with a brick, and that's when it's the whole like, he doesn't have, obviously hasn't had a tongue, he can't speak, but he does like a primal like scream when he does it, and that's where the film ends. It's sort of like the family, like they all get away, which like interestingly, coming out of it and like seeing about the original film completely different ending, which I was very surprised by.
None of them live in the end, do they?
Well,
or a lot of them die.
Well, it's essentially the mum and dad die in the original version, and their daughter. Well, it's the cycle starts again. Like the daughter gets kidnapped, and it's the whole like she's now the child who they will use to kidnap more people
in this play. You know?
Yeah. So it's a lot
Crazy.
darker, to be fair. So I mean, again, whether
I'd
that's
be interested to watch the original.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Yeah.
So whether that's like the American remake thing, like, oh, we need to give this a bit of a happier ending, almost. So whether that's why they chose to make that decision,
I think it's kind of right as well, because I think, as you say, if in the original they're maybe not fighting as much to get out of the situation, in this they are fighting to get out of it, but because the husband and wife are having some like marital problems already, they're kind of thinking to themselves, we must push ourselves out of our comfort zone, we must try and do things as a family, we must try and create this happy family. But by doing that, they're then putting themselves in these situations where all they need to do is what they learn at the end, is they just kind of need to work together and act as a family. They all need to, the husband needs to fight for his family, the wife needs to fight the daughter, they all need to work together. So I think that they learn something from that. It brings them, so actually I think it's the right ending for this particular family. I think it'd be a shame if one of them passed away.
I get you.
Obviously that is the same in any circumstance, but particularly because of the kind of
how they set it up
that they've gone through. I think it works that they all kind of come together now, and everybody comes together in times of crisis, but they've learned to work together. By the end of it, I think.
True. I think on the whole, like the plot, it worked really well, kept our attention, and the ending wasn't crap.
It wasn't.
It wasn't like Afraid movie.
I feel like a lot of endings have been really poor. And it's completely ruined the whole film. But for this, it just added to the film. I honestly think it was really, really good, and it's not too scary. It's not like a horror film. There's a lot of tension, so you're a little bit on edge, but it's not like scary horror kind of stuff. It's very thriller. But so if you're like not into horror films, you can still go and watch this and have that sense of unease, but not like scary.
That's exactly it. I think depending on how uneasy you feel, like maybe it's like social situations as well, because you are watching, like it's mainly dialogue heavy, and just someone will say something and everyone will be uncomfortable. You might just cringe at that and be like, I feel like I'm there, what's going on?
I know.
But I honestly go watch it. Like, would you say one of the bigger surprises of the year? Like, you didn't expect it to be as good?
I genuinely really, really enjoyed it, and I think, as I say, we had that feeling of unease. We had laughter, we had, whatever, I don't know, I can't even think of any other emotions, but there was a lot going on, because it was funny, but it was like somebody, when somebody says, oh god, this really embarrassing thing happened to me the other day, and you're kind of laughing at how uncomfortable it is and how embarrassed you feel, but you're laughing at it. It's that kind of feeling, but it's great.
It kind of reminded me of Split, to be fair, like, again, just because of James McAvoy, like, that was something I didn't know what to expect from it, but then I watched it, and like that was a really good thriller with him in it. So I was just so blown away by it.
I think a thriller is a really good genre. Of film, I think,
when it's done right.
When it's done right, I think thrillers can be really good.
Like Panic Room.
Yes, I love Panic Room. I absolutely love, brilliant film. Jodie Foster. What's her name?
Kristen Stewart.
Because I called her Kristen Dunst the other day.
No, you said Kirsten Stewart.
Kirsten. No, it is Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, Kristen Stewart, but you said Kirsten last time.
I said Kirsten. Yeah. Or I said Kristen Dunst. Or so. Anyway, whatever. I got them mixed up. But brilliant film. Who?
Forrest Whitaker.
I don't know who that is.
The black guy.
Oh, right. I see.
There you go. With the lazy...
Yeah, with a lazy eye.
Well, no, he has a lazy.
He has a lazy eye.
Well, he has like a lazy eye, but it's like, I think he literally has like a growth over his eye, but he refused to get surgery on it. I think because it was an iconic look for him.
Oh, how hilarious!
So I think he might be pretty much blind in that eye. I could be completely wrong, but I
oh my god,
reading or seeing something
that
I
didn't think that you'd pull that out.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That fact about. What's his name?
Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
Forrest Goodman is what I was going to say. I don't know why. But See No Evil Speak no evil.
Speak no evil.
Have I been saying see no evil this entire...
I don't think we've actually said the title of the
film. You know
film.
why? It's because it's the whole, like, it's the monkey thing. That's where it's, like, comes from. Yeah, see no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil. You know, that's where it comes from.
Shall I say what I said the other day? Doi.
Doi. But have you seen it, dear listeners? I think you should go see it. But in the meantime, this has been it for this episode of the Cinematic Trinity, and we will see you in the next one.